Get that down your neck while the chill holds. Bumpy. Raymond's tone was dead flat. Too flat. Bumpy Johnson stared at the stemware. Chateau Margaux, 1937 vintage. Ray's poison of choice. Bumpy had schooled him on the French stuff back in '38, back when they ran the numbers racket side by side, before the word brother became a lie, before the knife in the back. Now that vintage was his one-way ticket out. The room had eyes. The Italians wore wolfish grins, and Bumpy Johnson, the undisputed king of Harlem, played a card nobody saw coming. He let out a laugh. October 12th, 1945. Small's Paradise. The heart of Harlem. The back room was choking on Havana smoke, the scent of high-end cologne fighting the stench of rot-gut whiskey. 20 players squeezed around a table too small for the ambition in the room. Numbers, runners, policy bankers, a sergeant on the payroll, and 3 made guys from the Genovese outfit, who took the ride up from Little Italy just to witness the fall. And Raymond Ray Coleman, Bumpy's oldest pal. His right-hand man, the guy who took a shiv for him in Sing Sing back in '36, the same guy who just sold his soul for 30 large. The back room at Small's wasn't just a joint. It was the throne room, where the heavy deals went down, where the city got sliced up like a Sunday roast, walls the color of dried blood, lights dim. The jazz from out front bled through the walls like a slow pulse. The Duke himself had graced this floor. Lady Day had poured her heart out here, and tonight a man was going to bleed out here. Bumpy smelled the setup the second he stepped through the door. The grins were too wide, the grips too tight. Ray was in a rush with the bottle, too antsy to pour, too pushy about putting Bumpy in the boss's chair. The Italians weren't even wearing their masks. Sal Benedetto, a bone breaker for the Genovese, scar running down his face, cleaning his nails with a switchblade in the corner, flashing the steel, making sure Bumpy caught the glint. This was billed as a sit-down for peace. The outfit wanted to push their junk into Harlem. Bumpy drew a line. The Italians didn't do rejection, so they went shopping for a turncoat and found Ray Coleman, the kid Bumpy, dragged out of the gutter, the guy whose sister Bumpy saved from a heavy hand, the guy who knew the address, knew where the stash was buried, knew which pew his mother sat in every Sunday. He was the one who signed the death warrant. The toast was Ray's play. Gentlemen. He stood tall, glass in the air, to new business, to the riches, to the future of this town. The glasses went up. Even the wise guys raised them. They didn't give 2 cents about Harlem. They just liked the show of a man swallowing his own end. Bumpy's glass stayed on the wood. Ray's grin cracked, just for a heartbeat. Long enough for Bumpy to clock it. "You dry tonight, Bump?" Ray asked. Tried to keep it breezy. Just 2 pals talking. Bumpy locked eyes, stared into his soul, caught the bead of sweat, right on the lip. And it wasn't the radiator. Caught the eyes darting, checking Sal in the corner. Caught the shake in the hand holding the glass. "I'm taking it all in." Bumpy's voice was low. The room went dead. The heavy silence. The kind before the hammer drops. Ray forced a laugh. It echoed empty. "What moment? It's just grape, brother. Brother." Bumpy tasted the word. Let it hang there in the smoke. "Yeah, brother." He palmed the stem, held the glass up to the bulb. The liquid caught the light. Dark, thick, like fresh blood. "This is top shelf." Ray. Bumpy spoke like they were discussing the weather. 1937 vintage. "What's that run you? 40? 50 bucks? A small price for family. Right, Ray?" Ray spoke, but his voice broke when he called me brother. "Let me tell you something about this French vintage." Bumpy kept talking, leaving his glass untouched. Back in the war, the Krauts took over Bordeaux. They looted the best sellers. But this bottle right here, it lived through the occupation. Someone buried it deep, kept it away from greedy hands trying to snatch what they didn't earn. Sal Benedetto got twitchy in his chair. His hand crept toward the bulge in his jacket. Bumpy's gaze sliced through him. "You in a rush, Sal?" Sal went stiff. Through the door, the jazz band played on, a sax wailing a slow, mournful tune. Sounded just like a funeral dirge. Bumpy put the glass down, unspilled. "Tell me, Ray Ray, you know the taste of arsenic?" The air in the room turned to ice. The blood left Ray Ray's face. "Bumpy, I don't." "Bitter almonds." Bumpy cut in. "It's faint, a flavor most guys wouldn't even catch. With wine this heavy, you take a sip, praise the taste, and drop dead in 40 minutes. He rose from his chair, slow and deliberate, every set of eyes locked on him. No one moved, no one breathed. "But I ain't most guys." Ray Ray reached for his waist, right where Bumpy knew he kept that .38 snub nose. But Bumpy was faster, not with lead, but with a command. "Don't." He spoke soft, but it hit hard. It wasn't a threat, it was gospel. "You touch that iron, Sal puts a hole in you before you even draw." That was the setup, right? I drink the poison, they clip you, and it looks like a mutual kill. Nice and tidy. No heat comes back on the Genovese family. Ray Ray froze up. Sal Benedetto stared at Bumpy like he was looking at a dead man walking. "How did you?" he stammered. "How'd I figure it?" Bumpy smiled. It was a look that could freeze hell over. "Because I've known for 2 whole weeks." He reached inside his coat. The room tightened up. Hands hovered over heaters. Bumpy pulled out a manila envelope. No weapon, just paper. He slid it across the table to Ray Ray. "Open it." Ray Ray's hands shook as he tore the flap. Photos spilled out. His face turned the color of ash. "That's you," Bumpy stated, "sitting with Sal Benedetto at the Riviera Lounge, 3 weeks back. That's you taking the payoff. That's you counting $30,000. He threw down one last picture. "And that's your mama in her brand new fur. Beautiful coat. Shame it was bought with blood money." Ray Ray looked ready to vomit. "You see, Ray Ray, I knew about the sit-down. Knew about the cash. Knew about tonight." Bumpy lifted the glass again. "You think I walk anywhere blind?" "I switched the cups," Bumpy said, cool as ice. Ray Ray's eyes bulged. He stared down at his own drink, the one he'd just raised high, the sip he hadn't taken yet. "No," Ray Ray rasped. "Oh, yeah," Bumpy nodded. "The very one you poured for me. Mine is the clean vintage. But that one in your hand, that's got the arsenic. My boys made the switch while you were busy kissing up to our Italian friends." Bumpy stared at the glass. "Now drink. Bump, please. Drink it," Bumpy commanded again. His voice was a whisper, but it carried the crushing weight of 15 years of loyalty and 1 night of treason. Ray Ray shook so hard, the glass clattered against his ring. Sal Benedetto leaped up, iron in hand. "Nobody drinks a damn thing. We're out of here. Sit your ass down." "Sal," Bumpy said, not even looking his way. "You think you run this room?" Sal snarled like a dog. Bumpy turned slow to face him. "In Harlem? I'm the only law." Sal's fingers squeezed the trigger. "1 bullet, Johnson. That's all you need." "1 bullet," Bumpy agreed. "But then what happens? You think you clip me and just stroll out of Harlem breathing? Every ear on the block knows you are here. Every corner boy, every number runner, every shopkeep. You pull that trigger, you spark a war that buries you. Vito Genovese ain't the king of this jungle. Never was. Never will be." Bumpy slid a heavy phone across the mahogany. "But if my word isn't enough, let's ring up the one man who can school you on the rules." Sal's face went gray. "Who?" Bumpy dialed. 2 rings, a voice answered. "Lucky," Bumpy stated flatly into the receiver. "It is Bumpy Johnson. We got a mess up here that needs your ruling." The room turned into a tomb. Lucky Luciano, the architect of the 5 families, the man who turned street thugs into a corporate empire, the only man Vito Genovese bows to. Bumpy listened, face like stone, then laid it out. "I got 3 of Vito's soldiers sitting in Harlem. They put a 30 grand contract on my head. Now they are holding iron on me. thinking they can walk away clean like nothing happened. Silence on the line. Then a grunt. That is what I figured. Bumpy locked eyes with Sal. "Lucky wants a word with you." Sal took the receiver like it was a live grenade. "Boss?" 30 seconds of Lucky Luciano's voice drained every drop of blood from Sal's face. When he shelved the phone, his hands were trembling. "We are going," Sal whispered. "Sit," Bumpy commanded. He eased back into his chair, shook out a cigarette, and lit it. The flame flickered. He exhaled a gray cloud. "Here is the arithmetic. The price of a head in Harlem is $30,000. That is the tag you put on me with Ray Ray. So now you pay me $30,000 for your own lives." Sal glared. "This is a shakedown." "It is a business proposition," Bumpy countered. "I can bury all three of you right here, right now, and start a blood feud that bleeds our families dry. Or you pay the toll, the exact amount you spent to erase me, and you breathe another day. No war, no caskets, just the cost of doing business." He leaned in, eyes cold. "Make the call, Sal. Your life for 30 grand, or your pride for free." Sal checked his soldiers. They gave the nod. "We will get the cash," Sal hissed through clenched teeth. "You have it on you," Bumpy cut in. "I know you brought the payoff for Ray Ray. The second half of the contract. Put it on the wood." Sal reached into his jacket, slow. He dropped an envelope, thick with bills. Bumpy didn't flinch. He signaled a soldier. The money was counted. 30,000. Verified. "Good. Get out." Sal holstered his piece, turned to the door, then paused. "Vito will remember this insult." Bumpy offered a cold smirk. Lucky gave the order. "You followed? Transaction closed. Unless Vito wants to tell the commission why he started a war over a botched hit." Sal vanished into the hall. The door clicked shut. Finality. 5 seconds of dead air. Then Ray Ray reached for his glass, not out of thirst, but because Bumpy's eyes were drilling into his soul. The whole room watched. The trap was shut. Ray Ray tipped the glass. The dark wine kissed his lips. He swallowed. 7 minutes of ticking silence. First came the sweat, then the shakes. Ray Ray clawed at his neck, eyes bulging, mouth gaping in a scream that wouldn't come. Bumpy sat like a statue. No words, no mercy, just watching his blood brother choke on his own betrayal. Ray Ray hit the table, hard, photos scattered, glass shattered on the floor, and Bumpy Johnson thumbed through $30,000 in cash while his oldest friend rattled his last breath. Silence returned. Bumpy rose, fixed his knot, and looked down at the corpse. "A life costs 30,000, he murmured. "Spread the word. This is what happens when you cross Bumpy Johnson. It cost the kid everything. Me? I get my cut regardless." Bumpy stepped out of Small's paradise that night, $30,000 heavier. Ray Ray Coleman choked on his own double cross. And the Italians? They learned their lesson: no more pushing junk in Harlem. Even Lucky Luciano had to tip his hat. He rang Bumpy the next morning with just one message: "You handled business. Respect." The sit-down in that back room on October 12th, 1945, became gospel in Harlem. Not just because Bumpy clipped a rat. Plenty of guys get whacked. It was the style. Bumpy didn't just take a life. He cashed a check doing it. He turned a blood feud into a business transaction. He made the Italians pay rent just for the privilege of breathing. No heaters, no messy shootouts, just pure, cold smarts. Patience like a spider, and justice cold as ice. After that, Raymond Coleman's name was dead air in Harlem. The 30 large Ray was promised, buried in the dirt with him, but the 30 grand Bumpy squeezed from the Italians, he used it to buy 3 buildings in Harlem. Handed the deeds to the widows, women who lost their husbands to the numbers game. See, Bumpy Johnson wasn't just chasing power. He was a man of principle. And the rule was simple. You take a shot at the king, you best not miss. And if you do, you pay the bill. That was Bumpy's reckoning. That was the code. That was the legacy etched in stone. The back room at Small's Paradise kept its doors locked for 6 months. When they finally cracked it open, nobody had the guts to sit where Ray Ray met his end. They say the scent of spilled wine still hangs in the air. You can still feel the weight of the judgment passed there. But what really stuck? The lesson Harlem never forgot. Bumpy Johnson didn't just scrape by. He cleared the table every single time. If this tale of rats, smarts, and cold-blooded justice grabbed you, smash that subscribe button. Drop a like if you respect the way Bumpy turned a grave into a gold mine. And tell me in the comments, if you were in the boss's shoes, how would you have handled it? Let's hear it.